Hello. Wih, bisa. Lama banget ternyata ini nge-delaynya. 5 detik kali ya, atau 10 detik itu ya. Wow, GG. Kayaknya kita bentar dulu. Suara gamenya nggak usah lah ya, tapi gue sekalian ngebantu dulu. This is fun. Bagi nonton podcastnya Offline TV, ini kalian nggak perlu dengar. Wait, nah guys gini, terus kita ke sini, exclusive full screen window. Gue nggak tahu sih, saya di hack aja udah. Terus ini di full screen window. Sih. Full screen window. Then I mode game time. Kita bisa sekalian ngapus si mana ya si musik dulu ini. Ini tetap jalan ya musiknya? Oh enggak, pasti itu ya. Oke, sip. Sekarang jam berapa sih? Wah, hari ini ya itu. Gue harus ganti itu dulu. Harus ganti apa? Harus ganti si suara. Nggak suara ganti sih. Ayo kita cari pekerjaan. Mail, sleep, archive. Ini bukan yang udah coba. Necessary, resume. Kalau banyak yang belum gue itu sih. Oke. Sebenarnya gue nggak ngerti. Oh, gue harus ganti deskripsinya. Tadi gue bilang Paladin FTP. Jadi kecil ya. Baik. Harus ganti ini dulu, ganti apa namanya, ganti setting dulu, ganti kita bisa nggak ya ganti setting di nggak bisa ya, udah lanjut aja deh. Apa sih gue complete the job progress apa belum sih, ini udah apa belum, oh ini dia. Nah, gue lupa lagi cek apa sih. Oke. Harusnya ntar gue mau turun dulu deh. Hello. Wait. Nah, kita lanjut. Apa yang ini? Mana ini? Dulu kita ini ini banyak ya. Lupa. Ya, di sini. Apa lagi? Oke. Juga. Benar. Oke. Atau apa sih? Tapi meski gue matiin dulu. Nah, sebagai bawaan dari itu. Soalnya apa? Kayaknya. Udah. Terus ini sebagai kita nyalain. Bentar. Dari save. Dah. Tahu sukanya aja. Kemudian ada. Oke. Ya harusnya ini. Oke. Ini kita harus. Bentar. What should I do? Apain tadi gue lupa. Actually kita harus nge-tweet dulu sebenarnya. Ini share, copy link. Apa sih kalau apa? Oke. Terus link. Bisa. Oke. Ada. Hot system of objects. Ya. Kita juga belum dikit. Sini. Nanti kita balikin gampang sampai kita habisin ini dulu. Oke. 100%. Hup. Udah. Oke. Sekarang kita pindahin lagi barnya. Pick up. Ini nggak mungkin di sini kan, karena dia ada barang tadi. Jadi harus pindah sesuatu. Tapi kalau dipindahin, udah sih. Ya masalah lah, ini enggak ada jarak. Ya, coba. Jadi ini soalnya. Nah, tadi ada. Nah, oke. Terus ini kita jual. Oke. Jadi kita pindah. Ini masih banyak yang bisa di copy, tapi aku nggak tahu yang mana aja yang di copy. Ini udah. Ini udah. Iya. Plot udah. Ini. Oke. Ini apa? Oke. Kita ganti ke sky blue. Right. Sky blue. Oke. Bilang M dulu lah. Oke. Okay. Set right. Oke, kalau ruangan ini cuma dekor-dekor gitu gue kurang deh. Aku nggak ada men. Tapi kalau yang nyuruh sampai let's say nyuruh apa tuh? Nyuruh kayak ngancur-ancurin, enggak, masang-masang gitu enak sih. Atau bersih-bersihin, atau gue juga demen tuh. Kalau gini kurang sebenarnya kalau cuma ngacir-ngacir doang. Oke. Masih ini habis. Oke. Nih udah mulai, ini pasti habis nih. Oke udah, yay, kita ambil, kita jual. Oke, so masih ada ruangan yang bisa di, kita cek dulu. Ini udah, kayaknya, ini. Oke, jadi kita nanti kita belinya dulu WM. Di bawah juga ternyata ya. Bisa jalan aku di sini. Mbak Messi. Oke. Wih, ada semua. Let's go. Kita ini. Oke. Kita cek dulu. Yes. Oke. Mari kita cari back from home workshop. Turn standing empty for minimum 3% rebuild it masih itu. Oke, ini ribet. Karena drop tahu sebagai proses faktor bermasalah sama masalah. Oke. Ada decorate ya. Oke. Cleaning new radiators. Oke. And you don't know the garage. Apa namanya masalah? Christmas cleaning, house to refresh. Oke. Di antara ini atau si garage. Actually ini gas aja deh, kita mau gas. Nah kita cek garage, ada bersihin garasi rumah orang. Asal jangan ada pilihan ini deh. Tadi coba cek. bukan balas ya 20%. Oke, kita udah ganti ini kan ya, udah ganti apa namanya, udah ganti. Jadi tadi di game itu ada pilihan kalau di Xbox kalau cockroaches soalnya rada kayak no deh. Oke. Mari kita klik terus. Hey. Udah langsung hilang kayak buang sampah. Oke. Ini itu masuk ada ini. Oke, apa lagi ini enggak, ini kayak share tapi gue enggak. Ini dia. Ini ada. Ini mau ada ini. Oke, sip. Sekarang kita cleaning. Taruh sini, ke atas sini. Clean dirt. Oke, kita cleaning. Banyak nih kita kan. Iya. Oh, di atas ya. Bentar. Oh ya ini. Oke. Artinya juga bisa ya. Oke. Lagi kayak belum. Atau dia. Sip, nice. Sekarang kita makin pindah-pindah dulu ya. Taruh mana ya? Taruh sih taruh mana? bisa harusnya. Harusnya ada kayak tempat ini ya sih. Oke. Will. Anjay. Jadi gimana yang sambungannya bukan? Oke. Which one sampai? Which one bukan? Apa? Iya, gue lupa nyalain. Itu apa? Let's go. Lihat saya mau Just TV Studio TV. Itu dia. Let's go. Sampai mantap. Oke, kita cari langganan lagi. Kindergarten. Oh, tadi yang ini Christmas cleaning. House to refresh. Medium mondi itu. Bunker. Kalau bunker sama aja sih. Christmas cleaning aja deh. Kita bersih-bersih rumah buat Christmas. Living room buat kitchenette. Bagus juga. Iya. Bagus juga. Oke enggak. Oke. Ya, kita ini sebelumnya sampaikan. Oke. Oh. Lalu semua ini sampah. Terus ya ambil gesek terus, gesek terus ini. Pusat ini dulunya ada banyak lagi ya. Di pojok ada sampah. Terasnya tinggal dikit lagi. Jadi kita bisa ada 2. Ada nih, let's go. Sekarang kita sini. Ini pelnya pel aja, segala udah pasti hilang. Oke. Sini. Terus bentar. 1, 2 tapi tidak. Dia di bawah sini. Dia nggak mau kan ini. Ini ada bandel yang gak kelihatan pasti nih. Ini dia nih. Oke. Ini di atas bawah. Nggak sini sorry. Oke, itu yang kelihatan. kelihatan mana ya? Bisa loteng kalau yang nggak kelihatan sini kan. Oh iya, oke. Ada apa lain? Oh tadi ya, sip. Satu lagi, mana ada bandel oh ini dia, sip. Nice. Kita indahnya let's go. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Ini nggak ada lampu apa nih? Celah itu bangunannya tadi. Itu. Window. Mountable white curtain, okay. Mountable apa ya? Ini kali banyak kali ya. Assemble. Mantap. Terus by object Christmas at SL. Bisa di mana sih? Kenapa nggak di sini? Atau di sini? Terus print set ya. The bells. Ini jadi harusnya yang ini kayak dia sih. Christmas tree. Masa around the corner. Mana? Biasanya di sini nggak sih? Christmas garland tuh apa? Epic gift package. Gift medium. Hanging like garland long. Ya di sini sih sebenarnya. Mistletoe. Nutcracker. Christmas snowball. Christmas pets. XL. Masih desainnya rame gitu ya. Oke, mantap. Dan iya. Oke, gue mau cek Twitter dulu biar ini Paladins si PPX. Tadi menang. Anyone know who is this guy? Singaporean. So toxic, yes. Ini kira monyet kan? Oke. Oke. Hey, ini. Oke. Ada ruangan yang belum diambil. Langsung. Lagi dirtnya. Mobil apa? Bentar. Mana lagi dirtnya? Jadi gue mikir dirtnya situ makanya enggak. Nggak sih. Nah. Atas, bawah. Oke. Lagi ya belum. 2. Bed. Minta sampah, tinggal sampah. Bus pesta nih. Bentar. ya Ustaz, tapi kayaknya masih ada. Gue kayak bisa something tapi gue gak tau di bawahnya kan adalah tadi udah oke. Bersih ya, kita bersih ini cepet nih. Sini ada biasanya di sini ada minta misi lah, itu yang harus ada. Oke. Targetnya ada lagi tapi gue nggak tahu di mana terus. Targetnya oke di sini. Wah, ada relasi ini di atas ya. Sini juga. Ada. Sudah. Karena ini dia nggak usah hanging di situ sih, di atas kita. Oke, dan dijawab. Mantap. Kan tidak terlalu lancar saja. Ini kita bisa di rumah tahu. Rumahnya mantap ini. Dia bangker juga rumahnya. Tapi kalau ini udah dibersihin sih, cuma kayak apa ya? Tahu itu deh. Bentar, buyers perks. Jimmy Trader. Apa harus? Ini kita kalau rumahnya kita rapihin tuh kita bisa jual gitu ya. Works, camera. Cleaning, negotiation. Fast hands. See most of them on the map. Buyer, no houses, bro. Ini dulu deh. Save and exit. Bentar. Oke. Jadi kita sudah bisa streaming. Oh, itu gue sampai dulu.
Yeah, like because people cook crab all the time.
Some people think of crabs as like bugs because they have exoskeletons. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's just a sea bug.
Yeah, because cooking videos, they take the crab and they will literally just
Yo, they
drive a
fucking
knife
murder it,
right
yeah.
in there. And maybe like frogs, people kind of eat frogs, but they're also kind of big where you can see their face, and I don't like that.
You
If
see
I'm-
their eyes?
Yeah, you can see their eyes and their mouth and their nose, and they're like breathing. It's like I can't kill this. But like with a bug, it's just like skittering. It's
see
like,
it a
kind
little
of creepy and it's easier.
You don't see the face. True.
Yeah, you
they're too
don't-
small.
And if you do see the
forgot
face, like in
to
the
see it.
close-up, they look freaky.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm okay with killing.
Yeah, I'm doing the world a favor here.
Kalau ini
But
full screen,
yeah, if you can see their face, like how a snail? They're a
No,
little
but
more
it's
like
They're like fleshy.
yeah,
Fleshy, yeah, they have
and
a little
like
flesh.
their eyes like poke out and like
They have a response to like
recoil.
pain. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see it when you're like messing with it.
Yeah. People would probably get mad at you for killing a snail.
Yeah, like if
Surely
you just
people get mad.
smash the shell, because like you'll see the broken shell, and it's kind of like a crime scene, like of brutality, right?
You salt it so they disappear.
Oh,
no. Oh, I had.
but what if you eat the snail after?
Oh.
Then it's okay.
Maybe it's okay. Maybe you're justified because it's also like I want to try escargot. You know. Okay. Yeah, if you're gonna try escargot, a snail will die in the process. So like, doesn't really matter where it does. I had a friend who was, I don't know if this is okay for like YouTube, but he
Mhm.
was like I did not know he was like this, and I stopped being his friend after. But he was like a sociopath who like killed birds, like
Ooh.
in a bad way, not in like a I'm curious way. It was like hee that hurt kind of way. Fucking like super weird, like evil shit. And I found out because I like came over one day, and he lived near me, and like I like came over one day, and it was like throwing rice out on the street. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? And it was like there's a lot of chickens on Maui, and like you know, like also a lot of baby chicks. They're like throwing little dried rice on
Oh
the
wow,
street.
he's feeding them. That's really
Right,
nice
I was
of
like,
him.
oh, you feeding the chickens? And he was like, no, if you feed enough dried rice to chicks, the stomach acid will be absorbed by the rice, and they'll die from their stomachs popping. I was like, what the fuck? What did you just fucking say to me? What are you trying to do? It's like, yeah, we're just doing it for fun. I was like, what the fuck is like that's like a Ted Bundy childhood story.
Yeah.
Like you grow up to kill people for sure. Yeah, and it's not being his friend.
He's having a turn.
Yeah.
You don't keep in touch.
No, not at all. No.
God, I hope he doesn't see this.
I sure hope not. I really
Because
hope
if he's
he doesn't.
willing to feed dried rice to make chicken babies' stomachs explode, he probably.
Nope,
He'd probably go in.
He's probably capable of some other stuff.
Oh yeah, and that was when he was a kid. Too.
Oh,
So
God.
like, I don't know how he grew up.
How
but
is he doing these
What
days?
is he
What
doing
does
these
he
days?
do for a
Yeah,
living?
see if I still have his number.
Paano kita bisa nonton itu?
Okay, I'm not sure how we got on this, but we
Killing Animals podcast.
Yeah, figuring out the best, the most okay animals we should. Next, state of games. Yeah, we haven't been playing much games besides Valorant and League of Legends.
I don't even play
And
much of those.
we're supposed, well, like a lot of our friends are streamers / gamers, but there's just nothing to play nowadays, and
It's nothing super interesting.
it's kind of boring. Like most of the stuff we do is just like outside IRL stuff, and like playing Valorant is just really to kill time almost. And
Yeah,
just to hang out
actually,
with
it's like an
friends.
in-between buffer time now.
Yeah,
I hope
everyone's
some
just...
good shit comes out. Battlefield, I will be playing.
Oh,
That sounds quite sweet. I used to skip school to play Battlefield 3. See, I'll get in on that. That sounds fun. I don't know what else though.
Yeah, everyone's waiting because like Among Us was such a big thing. Like even looking back, like when I was in the moment, it's just like it's like a fever dream almost. when you
Paper
look back
Rex,
on
let's
it.
go.
This was the game
Let's fucking
that everyone
go.
needs to play.
Tiga-
If you don't
13
like it, you gotta
giga.
play
Ah,
it
bisa
because
nih.
all the content creators are playing it. All your friends are gonna be playing it. No one's playing
Let's
anything
go.
else, right?
Ta-da!
And
Paper
now that
Rex.
it's gone, it's just this giant void of like, wow, what do we play? Like, we don't have any games to.
It's not like the default anymore.
Yeah.
I remember being on Twitch late at night. I don't remember looking at
Tadi
just like
gue
through
masih
categories of
online,
games.
tapi belum
And I
tahu
saw
ngapain dulu.
Among Us was like below 1,000 viewers. And I was like, finally. It's finally fucking dead. It took 8 months, not like a year. It was so popular for so fucking long.
What was it like from the outside? Because you don't really play Among Us, and you're not really in like the streamer culture.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like seeing like a lot of people in your friend circle just turn into like
Among Us
Among
professional
Us
players.
pros and like all this like in turmoil and drama, and like yeah, what was it like just being a bystander, like
Yeah.
looking all of this unravel?
It was made different by like the fact that I fucking hate Among Us. I fucking despise playing that shit. I also got in late, so I was like not as good.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. It wasn't like super weird. I knew there's like has to be like a default game, and it was so pop, and I was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. But I like said that in my mind with like, and then in a month we'll go back to playing something else. And then month 2 came, and month 3 came, and it became so fucking big, and like, it was so huge. And I was
Just
like,
kept getting bigger
this
and
was,
bigger.
yes, I was like, this is gonna die. It was like it's like Super Bunny Man. It's like this dumb game
Yeah.
you find, and then it's done in
It's
2
done,
days.
yeah.
It was like it's not done after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It was fucking crazy. I'm glad you're back though. Glad you're doing other stuff. Do you feel without purpose now that your thing is gone?
Iya, iya. Gue sih mau dengerin. Sebagai ini. Oh. Ada ini yang lokal. Oke. Hah? Gimana? Oh, ya udah. Ya nggak terlalu itu sih. Wait. Oh, kita aja.
Gaming PC. Wait, why is the audio out of sync? Why are you saying things that he's not saying in the video? Oh my. This here is another viewer's broken gaming PC. Wait, why is the audio out of sync? Why are you saying things that he's not saying in the video? Oh my gosh, this is gonna drive me crazy. Hi, my name is Greg. I'm filming from my desk because I had some audio issues at the beginning of this video, and of course I didn't realize that until I started editing. So you're gonna see some voiceover action, or you're gonna hear some voiceover action at the beginning of this one. The good thing is once I start troubleshooting, you won't have to deal with this anymore. If you're seeing a shot of clips moving and I have to voice over it, I'm just gonna grayscale that clip, and I'll try to put as much B-roll over it as possible so that it doesn't annoy you. It's already annoying me, so I know it's gonna annoy some of you, and I apologize for that. I've already ordered new audio equipment so that this does not happen again. So just the beginning of the video, I do this, and then I think one other section of the video a bit later, but the rest of it is good. So yeah, sorry again. So this build is, well, it's huge. First off, there's a lot of cable clutter. It's kind of an older system, Z270, I believe, which I didn't actually realize at the time. I knew it was an Intel platform, I just didn't know how old it was. And the graphics card is a GTX 970. Now, according to the viewer, this system flat out refuses to post, which I assume means that it does receive power and does quote-unquote turn on, but we don't get a picture out. So we're going to try to work our magic in this one. I already know, of course, how this turns out because I'm filming this after the fact, but I really think you're going to enjoy it, and I think that you're going to be wanting to hit me over the head with something once you realize what actually was wrong with the build. Stay with me.
If you're anything like me, you probably wake up in the morning and jump onto social media, aimlessly finance or tech, or maybe even all get started.
We're familiar with it either. The hardware stuff is generally easier to troubleshoot. I think anyone in IT, for the most part, would agree with me on that. And especially when we're talking about larger components, swapping things out takes seconds. Anyone could do this. You don't even need a high school diploma. So the first part, again, of every troubleshooting process should be to plug in the system and attempt to apparently turns on but does not post. So we're going to connect it here. I'm going to click the power button and see what happens. And you can see we do have power. The LEDs in the fan for the CPU cooler are on,
Dia udah
but we're not
pakai
getting a post.
di
Nothing,
record.
just a black screen. Okay, I'm finished voicing over for now. I do apologize again. I know this is super important. One other section where I do have to
Let's
do
go.
this. Indicators in the video is good to go. Let's get into it. So I spent the last few minutes checking both DVI and DisplayPort connections directly from the motherboard. Still not getting a picture out. This could be though because the CPU doesn't have an integrated graphics processor. We're gonna check that now. This is a, let's see here, i7 7700K.
Oh,
So that's not a, they didn't have KFs back then, I don't think. So yeah, this should have an integrated graphics processor, or an IGP, if you want to use the abbreviated version of that. Means that there is a way for this CPU to output video, right, directly from itself. It doesn't need a discrete card to output that video. So we should be getting a picture, and we're not getting a picture from either this or the discrete card. So I'm actually inclined to think that his 970 is okay, which I suppose is a really good thing in this market. You know, this is one of the more expensive components in this build, given current conditions and how expensive graphics cards can be. I'm still going to swap this out though, just to be sure. And I'm also going to try booting into the IGP without a discrete card in here. Maybe the motherboard's just defaulting to trying to send video out through this card because it detects that a card is here. So we'll remove this as well. I'll take care of this stuff off camera very quickly. And more bad news, neither of the things I just tried worked. We get no picture out from the CPU or the IGP and the CPU when plugging directly into the motherboard with no discrete card in here. And when I do connect a discrete card that I know works, like this GT710, my Trustfuel 710 I've used in several fix-or-flop videos by this point, we still get no picture from a card that we know works. So something very, very sneaky is happening with this rig. I'm starting to suspect the motherboard over anything else. It could also be the CPU, because if the CPU is bad, it doesn't matter what card you have in your system. You're not going to get picture out, right? Your CPU is one of your first lines of defense. So yeah, motherboard or CPU. And the problem is this is an older platform. I don't readily have like motherboards that I can swap this one out. This is a Z270 motherboard. That's a couple generations old by this point. So I'll have to order one. I don't really have another choice. Let's see what else we can do though. I might have a few other things to try. So in my closet here, I mean, I have a few motherboards. I know this is probably more than most of you have, and that's just because this is what I do for a living. But the closest board I have to being compatible with a 7700K is a Z370, and actually the board that's in there is not even a Z370 motherboard. It's like a much older board. So yeah, I don't have anything to test that 7700K with. What I suppose I can do, however, is swap out both the motherboard and the CPU with a setup that I know works, and we just go from there. I'm sure it'll fix the issue, but that won't really tell us which one specifically is wrong, either the motherboard or the CPU. So now I have disconnected every non-vital connection. That excludes only the 24-pin and the 8-pin EPS. And what that does essentially is roll out any user error, any short anywhere else on the motherboard, although again this doesn't look like a short. This is how shorts typically look. I do want to mention that up front. But this will help us narrow down the motherboard if it is the motherboard or the CPU that's connected to the motherboard. I don't think this is RAM. We could try reseating RAM, but actually we should probably, well, we'll do that in a second. Reseating RAM is probably one of the easier things to do, so we should try that sooner rather than later. But I do want to, let's see, we'll power it on. Let's see if we get
Udah coba
a post.
connection.
Did I? Oh, I forgot. I need to jump. I always forget to do this. I need to jump
Yeah,
because
man.
I disconnected them. Alright, there we go. Power supply is spinning. And we're just waiting now for post if one ever shows up. So I definitely.
A few moments later.
And that's enough waiting. still no joy. I am going to swap RAM with a stick that I know works. I'm just going to stick with one DIM in the first slot that needs to be populated. That's denoted right here next to the slots on the board itself. And we'll try booting up this way before we swap the platform. I'm crossing everything I got in hopes that this works, because if it doesn't, it's a
Colok.
pretty beefy upgrade. I keep forgetting I need to dang board.
Dia lupa. Mau apa dia orang?
There we go. Let's see. Now we've officially rolled out everything except for the motherboard, CPU, and power supply. Although, yeah, the power supply seems fine to me. Yeah. Still not seeing a post.
Berapa lama dia nungguin waktu itu?
By the way, I did do the very quick things that you should do in the beginning. I cleared the CMOS, and well, I should have swapped RAM earlier than this, but doesn't seem to be fixing the issue anyway. I feel like I got bit by something on my elbow. And still nothing with the graphics card in the lower full-length PCIe slot. I'm really trying to give this platform the benefit of the doubt, but like I said earlier, if we're not getting picture out even from the 7700K itself, that tells me that it's, again, either the motherboard or the CPU. So I guess at this point, I have really nothing left to try. Let's get this thing out of here. Hi there, Greg from the future again, just one more time. In this clip here, I talk about how I noticed that there was an LED debug indicator on the right side of this Z270 board, and I noticed that when I powered the system on, the top two LEDs would flicker for a split second, the CPU and the DRM, I believe, and then they would cut right back off. You can see in the B-roll here, this is what was happening. It happened so quickly that I didn't notice it even turning on before, which is why I didn't even know it existed, because the lights were on for fractions of a second. But this prompted me to swap power supplies just to be on the safe side, because I wasn't really sure why we were getting that odd flicker. This could be a short, but it ended up not being one, and I'm kind of glad, because at this point I was already so deep into replacing the platform that I had already kind of committed to removing things. So what I ended up doing was upgrading his entire platform with stuff that's much newer. So he has a 9900KS in this build now, and I think it's a Z390 motherboard, I don't really remember. It's a Gigabyte Designaire board. So a very beautiful motherboard, beautiful platform. He's got a 9900KS in there now, which is like double the cores, double the threads. He's set. He's good to go. I did reuse his RAM, but that's DDR4 to DDR4, no problem there. But yeah, this platform is much newer, and I think he's going to be happy with this. At the end of the day, like I said, I knew that it was either the motherboard or the CPU, so replacing both was just this safe play while I was in the process of ordering other components, because I didn't have any to test with. So that's what you'll hear me talk about here in a second. But yeah, so this platform is new for him, and we turn it on, make sure that it works. He's good to go. So I think at this point, I'm going to let him keep these upgrades, and these are definitely upgrades over his previous Intel rig. So from a 7700K to a 9900KS, and he's still going to get overclocking support with a beefier, more modern Z-series motherboard. We'll keep his RAM in there. Actually, we can recycle the CPU cooler since it's the same socket layout, and everything else will be the same. We just need to tackle this, obvious rat's nest down here.
Hah, sekiki ini anjay. Dia bilang ganti ini apa bisa ya? Apa nih udah. Cuman video masih full banget, cuma kita mau cek dulu apa yang terjadi. Gila, banget sih.
Now after powering the system on, making sure that his fans were spinning, making sure the RGB was on, it's not synced up yet because, well, he needs to download software to do that. I noticed that neither of the drives in his build have boot volumes on them. They're both Samsung SSDs, one of them is larger than the other, but neither has any created volume at all. In fact, these look almost brand new. If you look in the, I have Windows Media Creation Tool pulled up here just to confirm that no volumes exist, and sure enough, both Drive 0 and Drive 1 have 100% unallocated space. So, like I said, if you bought one of these from Best Buy, this is what you would see. Well, both of these are like that, so I'm going to ask the viewer what he wants me to do, which drive he wants me to install Windows on, assuming he wants Windows, and then we can push this build to the side, because otherwise it's working again. Mission accomplished. We still have an elephant in the room, though, and that's the platform that we previously removed, the Z270 board and the 7700K. Which of those is bad? I don't have other components from that generation to swap with right now, so we're going to have to go fishing. So it has been a few days since filming that last clip you just saw, And I wanted to take some time to gather not only a Z270 motherboard that had both native Skylake and Kaby Lake support, but also I wanted to have a Kaby Lake CPU or just even a Skylake CPU, something I could use to run with that Z270 board to swap out with his as well. Now, I've already returned his system, so you're going to see it at the end of the video when I do the outro and stuff. I'll be wearing my old shirt, but I'm filming this scene much later because, again, I had to wait for that hardware to show up. His system is good to go, and that's why I already returned it, because it had those upgrades that I just showed you. But at this point, I still want to narrow down whether it's the motherboard from his old system at fault or its CPU. This here is the motherboard and CPU from the broken system, the one that we started the video off with. You can see this is the Core i7-7700K. I've got a Core i5-6500 here I bought from a gentleman named Ari. I appreciate you, Ari. And the Maximus 9 Hero here, the Z270 motherboard I bought from Shannon. I appreciate you, Shannon. You know who you are. This is a pretty beast board here, and he didn't even want me to pay for it. I just covered shipping for him. So big thanks to him. We've got two components here that we do still need to test, so we want to make sure, especially in shipping with this motherboard, that everything works. Once we confirm that both the CPU and the motherboard work in here, then we want to take this CPU and put it into this viewer's motherboard. If we don't get a post, that means it's the motherboard to blame. And if we do get a post, then it's probably the CPU to blame, and we'll take the 7700K, we'll throw that into this motherboard to confirm
pokoknya dicek lah semuanya,
that
cara gimana.
how it plays out. So just to give you a rundown, that's what I'm about to do. Here we go. You can plug HDMI directly into the motherboard because these CPUs have integrated graphics. Everything else is wired up, and yeah, let's give it a go.
Oke, kemudian ngetes yang
This here is with the two that I just bought.
Yeah,
Before
dulu.
we start swapping other components around. I have no fan just because the system's not going to be on that long. Using, yeah, we got Dr. Debug up here so I can see what it's doing. Yep, there we go. Boot light. All right, so these two components work. That's great. I had no doubt. These two people were really cool, and I appreciate their help in this video. And now for the tricky part. So we're going to put his 7700K into this rig. Now that we've confirmed that this motherboard is functional, we're going to see if we get a picture out now. 7700K, Kaby Lake CPU, but it should still have an IGP, and that's why we don't need a discrete graphics card, in case you're wondering. Slide this one on in, nice and carefully. And lock the retention arm again. Are we going to get a post? That is the ultimate question. Now, if I had to wager, if I was a betting man, I'd say the CPU is perfectly fine. Wow. Wow, we've got a Dr. Debug 0 or OA. That is not good. So if I had been a betting man, I'd have lost a lot of money. This Dr. Debug indicator right here is indicating that the CPU is fried. And it doesn't matter which slot I use for this single DIMM. It could be channel A, channel B, slot 1, or slot 2 for either channel. The system still will not post. I think we've just got a totally bricked CPU. And by process of elimination, that means that this viewer's motherboard, assuming the platform itself wasn't totally toast, should be fully functional. And that's what we've got installed now. We're going to power it back on. This board we do have to manually jump. Here. Motherboard does the exact same thing on the debug LED. Wow. You know what? Maybe the motherboard is what killed the CPU. Maybe I just killed my 6500 by putting it in this motherboard.
Ada.
Oh, no, it's booted. What?
Hey.
Okay, we've got I don't know, something might be wrong with the debug LED thing. I'll show you guys right here. What it does, it kind of flickers for a second and then cuts back out. Well, that's what it was doing with the 7700K as well, except from this point on, it just stayed off. But here, it boots up. The boot LED lights up, and we have a post. It's just the CPU. A dead 7700K that was giving this viewer such a headache.
A few moments later.
Okay, in another turn of events, did not think to check this. I always check it with Ryzen CPUs, but I didn't think to check it with an Intel CPU because it doesn't usually happen. This CPU was purchased secondhand. Actually, the viewer knew who he purchased it from. I think it was a family member. I believe it was working, so it's kind of weird that it would die right in transport. It's very easy to ship these. I didn't check the contact points on the back of the chip. So I'm going to get out of the shot here so it doesn't focus on my face, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Right, so that's the back side of the 7700K. Now, if you notice down here at the bottom, got a weird little spot. I believe this was preventing proper contact between this contact pad and the pins in the socket. So, if I'm correct, if we clean this, it should work. Because again, it's very rare that CPUs just die. And I stand by that. I'm gonna clean this thing up, we're gonna put it back in that board. For one final hoorah, let's see if all of this was for nothing. I mean, at the end of the day, at least the viewer got a really nice platform upgrade, right? 9900 KS and a Z390 motherboard, and that's a really good upgrade. So I don't regret the upgrade itself. I just wish I had noticed this a bit sooner because I feel kind of stupid now. Just gonna use a Q-tip and some IPA, same stuff I use in the PCDC series. And you can see we've already got a pretty big smudge picked up on the Q-tip there. I'm pretty confident this is going to fix the CPU. I can't believe I didn't check this sooner. Oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. I always do this with Ryzen, and I just figure, I don't know. I checked the socket here. I did not check the back of the CPU. Who the heck has a smudge like that on the back of the CPU?
Hey.
It's no excuse. I should have caught it earlier. Right, so this looks so much better. Back in goes to 7700K. What do we have? Power on at the rear. Jump between here. Oh, I'm gonna be so thrilled if this works. Come on, give me something. It is. It's working. I'm such an idiot, but I'm so happy. It worked. It worked. Wow, we've got a VGA light. I'm not sure what that's for. We didn't get that with the 6500 in here. But, oh no, it's on boot now. Okay, cool. So, wow, that is really something. It literally just came down to the smudge on the back of this CPU. Another one for the books, and another one that I will never, ever again forget to check. Even if it's an Intel CPU, folks, and you're having issues, you've narrowed it down to the CPU itself, before you throw it in the trash, maybe check the contact points on the back of it if it's an Intel chip. If it is a Ryzen CPU, obviously check the pins, make sure there are none that are bent or straight up missing. And always check the sockets of both platforms as well. There could be something lodged in either of those. You could be missing pins on the LGA side of things. But yeah, this wow. I'm super happy. That means I can keep the 7700K. I mean, I gave him a 9900 KS, and I bought a 6500 because, well, I figured, why not? I want to test. But really, his 7700K was fine. So now I have 3 Skylake or Kaby Lake CPUs laying around. I didn't really need that many, but I suppose I kind of brought that on myself. This was all over the place. I still can't believe it just came down to a simple smudge. So we fixed his issue. Granted, it took me, again, a lot longer than it probably should have. We confirmed that his motherboard is just fine. We also confirmed that his CPU is just fine. So thanks for watching this far into the video. I do hope at the very least you were entertained by this one, but maybe you also learned a thing or two, and that's a win-win because I'm learning as I go as well. I don't claim to know everything about PCs, especially on the software side and hardware. I've been working with it for several years now, which is kind of hard to believe that much comfort zone enforces me. Is this component needed? I would be more than happy to.
Gila ini bahas epic banget sih. Untuk the moment it works, I raise my hand. Did it in the video. Aduh, bagus banget sih. Nice actually, kita udah sih. Menarik juga sih bisa apa namanya streaming di YouTube. Ntar gue bikin poll kali ya, kayak mendingan YouTube atau Twitch, kan harusnya gimana gitu. Oke, sip. Thank you guys for watching. Kita berkembang anjay.